What you doing? Nothing, bro. Just grading some papers, leaving some comments for some kids that won't read it, teacher life. Now, what's with the groans, man? There's a lot of groaning over there. The groans? Dude, my back is killing me. Killing me. Huh. Maybe you should try fixing your posture, Well, a little straight posture action. Fix my posture. Like this. Ooh, too much. Too much? Okay. What about this? No. This? No. I don't know. I'm just sitting in this chair and my hips hurt and you know what? Voila! Standing desk. How about that? Ooh. Very nice. Very nice. That'll do. In fact, let's just get rid of this completely. What's up, everybody? My name is Gilbert Church. I'm a high school strength and conditioning coach. I'm a PE teacher in Harlem, and today is the day that I am going to try and convince you to abandon chairs, which I understand is a fairly tall order and probably actually sounds a little bit strange, but hear me out. Imagine you went back in time like 10,000 years ago and you explained your modern life to the standard hunter-gatherer. And you're like, hey, I wake up, I get some milk, I grab a box of cereal, and I sit down at the table and I pour my cereal and milk and proceed to eat it sitting down. And then I get up for about 2 seconds and I walk over to the car. And then in the car, I just sit in this device that takes me to the place that I need to go. And then when I get to that place that I need to go, I usually sit at a desk for about 6 to 8 hours. Sometimes I get up, sometimes I don't. Usually during that time, I just stare at a screen the entire time and kind of hunch over while I'm at it. And then I stand up for about like 5 minutes. I go back to this car, I sit down, and then when I get to my house, I proceed to go to this really, really comfy, cushy looking chair thing where I sit down and I look at this very bright screen. I know you don't know what a screen is, but a screen that entertains me. And then I go to sleep. Yeah. It would be weird. And possibly one of the first questions they would say is, why do you sit so much? Well, they probably ask about the TV screen and the box of cereal and milk, right? Like, how did you get milk out of a canister as opposed to, squeezing the others? But you get the idea, right? We were evolved to move, right? Standard hunter-gatherer 10,000 years ago is like, bruh, like, you're not on your feet at all during the day. Like, we live to move. And the idea here is that we have evolved to move, right? Don't you find it strange that our health deteriorates when we don't exercise? Like, why is it that we have to pick up things and put them down and then like run certain distances of miles or even walk or move? Because if we don't do those things, our health literally deteriorates. The takeaway here is our evolution has gone in lockstep with movement, and movement actually makes us healthy, and not moving precedes a lot of serious health problems. And this sedentary lifestyle that we have in this modern era is a weird one, right? It's something that our bodies aren't used to, and we actually run into a lot of health problems when we are sedentary, when we are sitting in chairs all day long, particularly with a computer. So let's talk about the consequences of sitting. Let's talk about my own personal experiences of what happened when I tried to eliminate a chair from my life, and some helpful tips for you to make your life a little bit less sedentary. Let's talk about it. Okay, so again, I get it. Me trying to tell you to eliminate a chair from your life does sound crazy and does sound a little bit too much. Like, what are you talking about, Shersh? Like, why is this such a big deal? We've been sitting for ages. Schools have chairs everywhere. And I know that's the point. It's something that we've got to try and change. I'm going to drop 3 knowledge bombs on you. And if they sound crazy, it's because they are a little crazy, but they're also true. So the first one I'm going to drop from you is this quote from this guy, Dr. James Levine. This is a guy who works at Arizona University. He is a obesity solutions expert. So he literally thinks about how do we solve the obesity crisis in America and globally pretty much 24/7. And here's a quote from that guy in my wonderful book, Deskbound. He says, "Sitting is more dangerous than smoking, kills more people than HIV, and is more treacherous than parachuting." He concludes simply, "We are sitting ourselves to death." If that sounded crazy to you, the first time I read it, it also sounded crazy to me. However, speaking to you from the standpoint of someone who has tried to incorporate a lot more activity throughout their day, not just in the gym, but throughout their day, trying to be on their feet, trying to eliminate chairs, trying to get to standing desks, this slowly makes a lot more sense. Here's another crazy statistic for people who are incredibly sedentary. The typical seated office worker is in mortal peril. Now, what do I mean by that? The typical seated office worker, right? The person sitting at a desk behind a computer screen reports more musculoskeletal injuries than people in any other sector. Think about that for a second. That means people sitting behind desks are reporting more joint pain, more muscle pain, more aches and pains and lower quality of life than people in construction, in transportation, and in metalworking industries. People behind desks getting way more injured physically than people on construction job sites. That is a fact, it's logged, it's a statistic. It's crazy, right? And these are the sedentary people, not the people moving around. And then finally, I'm going to drop this one on you. The World Health Global Organization ranks physical inactivity, not physical activity, physical inactivity as the 4th biggest preventable killer globally, right? So you're taking things that kill people that's completely preventable. That would be physical activity being one of them. It's the 4th biggest killer. We're literally, as the guy said before, sitting ourselves to death. We're not moving enough. And to go back to the intro, when I was talking about this evolutionary piece of, we evolved to move, it stuck with us, right? Movement isn't just something that we had to do to survive. Now it's completely locked in with our own health. And we have not found a way to escape it. There's no magic pill. There's no way to say, hey, if you just take this injection or we change those genes, you don't have to move anywhere. We're not there in science yet. So at this point, we have to pick things up and put things down and run and jump and swim and do all those incredible things because it is absolutely integral to our health. And here's what's not integral to our health. Sitting. This chair that I'm sitting in right now can be a representation for all chairs everywhere, which is they are an innocuous load on our health. They're something we don't think about that is actually quite destructive in the long run. You want to hear some crazy stuff about sitting? Listen to what you are at risk for if you spend over 3 to 4 hours in a chair per day. Neck pain, brain fog, hindered breathing, increased risk for heart disease, low back pain, muscle degeneration, knee pain, lower extremity pain, and the last one, ding, 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 weight gain. All of those things just by sitting longer than you actually think about. If you sit back and you suddenly think, I wonder how long I actually sit during the day. How much time am I in some sort of chair or sofa or cushy lazy boy chair or something like that? Add those hours up. If you're over 3 to 4 hours on those things, guess what? You can improve your quality of life because the chair and that sedentary nature of the chair is something that contributes to all of those things. So, you know what I really want to do right now? Stand up. And now that you got me standing, let me share my own personal story with myself, and my battle with the chair. Enter high school Gilbert. Right around junior and senior year, I started experiencing a lot of low back pain, particularly when I was sitting. Couldn't figure out why. Didn't understand the processes, didn't understand my own biology, didn't understand posture. Classic Gilbert was slumped over a desk, sleeping and trying to catch a nap during any class that was happening. But what I started realizing is when I started digging into this stuff, I realized posture did matter. And I mattered that having perfect posture at a chair is actually really, really problematic because you can't turn your glutes on. And not to go into a full-on biology postural thing, but you cannot squeeze your butt when you're sitting in a chair. And if you can't squeeze your butt, you actually can't organize your hips into a good position. Ergo, the less time you're in a chair, the more time you can spend trying to organize your hips into a proper position to support your spine. And this is something I slowly learned through lifting. Of course, I come to all of these health things because I'm the meathead that I am by going to the gym, saying my back was in pain, and then having someone tell me, hey, how much time do you spend in a chair? And that led me down this deep, deep rabbit hole where I started looking at guys like Kelly Starrett, and I started looking at other physios that were talking about the dangers of sitting all the time and being sedentary. And I was like, I'm not sedentary, I work out, I exercise. And they're like, yeah, but only for about an hour to 2 hours a day. And then it slowly dawned on me. Yeah, I'm this active athlete. I spend all this time moving, but really all this time moving is only in the gym. And when I was at home, I was on the floor, in a chair, in a couch, and what I realized was it was lending itself to a lot of joint pain that I just didn't want to deal with anymore. So, I eliminated chairs. Okay, I take it back. I didn't eliminate chairs, but I did the best job I could of creating standing desks in places that I was constantly on my computer. So in my room, I've got a bunch of boxes stacked up that I use as a standing desk. When I'm working in the kitchen, I have a bunch of boxes that I have stacked up on the table where I have my computer on top and I can stand and type away right there. Typically, whenever I'm trying to work on any computer, I'm trying to do it with my feet on the ground and my hips open up and me standing. And this has led to a lot less pain in my back. And even better, it's led to gains in the gym, right? Because that's what we really care about, getting a bigger squat. So from my own personal standpoint, getting more movement just by standing up was this awesome piece that allowed me to avoid a lot of pain and definitely made me healthier, have more energy, felt better, and got more movement in my life. Check, check, check. So with that said, let's talk about things you can do to get a little bit more movement in your life and try and avoid this sedentary lifestyle that is actually killing us all. Here we go. So, without further ado, here are some very, very simple steps you can take to avoid being sedentary and get a little bit more movement in your everyday life. Number one, avoid optional sitting. What the heck do I mean by that? Well, when sitting is optional, try to avoid it. For example, if you're taking the subway to school, you know when you get to school, your teachers are going to expect you to sit in chairs. That's a fact of life. There's not much you can do about that. But on the subway, you can definitely stand up and hold the railing overhead. This is going to be a way to incorporate a little bit more movement into your life and have you open up your hips and actually use your feet a little bit. Trust me, it's good for your health. It's a really great thing to do. If you are eating, you can set your bowl of cereal on a counter and eat it while you're standing. Try and be a little bit more active while you're actually digesting food. In fact, fun fact, there are studies that say if you are active while you're eating or right after eating, you digest that food better. So, win-win. Number two, set a timer to move. If you are glued to a chair, or let's say you're working at home and there's just no way that you can do your English paper or whatever work you're doing without sitting in a chair, it's just how you think, fine, set a timer, 1,000 seconds or half an hour or something like that. But no more than 30 minutes can you be stuck in a chair. For every 30 minutes of sitting, you need to move at least bare minimum 2 minutes, and that is a low, low bar. Set your timer. Once it goes off, you got to get out of that chair and move around a little bit before you're allowed to go back into that chair. Number three, standing desk. Now, do I expect you to be stock still statue, perfect posture as you type at your standing desk all the time? Absolutely not. But you know what a standing desk does? It creates an opportunity for movement. You can shift your position around. If you get a box, you can stick your leg up on it. It just creates more opportunities for you to shift around and fidget and do something as opposed to being stock still. Because again, being sedentary is the problem here. A standing desk actually makes you work a little bit harder and actually gets you to burn a good bit more calories. Fun, awesome fact about a standing desk. I forget how many marathons this counts for, but if you take all the time that you are in a chair and you replace it with that time with standing, you are actually burning the caloric equivalent of something like 20 marathons a year if you replace your sitting with standing. That's crazy stuff. Are you going to lose crazy weight from standing all the time? Maybe not. But again, every little bit helps, and it's going to do a number on making you a good bit more healthy. So here are 3 simple steps you can do. Oh, and before I forget, on the last one right here, the standing desk piece, probably the coolest thing me and my brother did in an effort to sort of save our hips and save our low backs and try and avoid a chair is we love playing video games standing up. So if you are a video game kind of guy or gal and you find yourself sitting in front of that TV, stack some boxes up, put your TV on top of it, get your PlayStation or Xbox rolling, and boom, play it standing. We actually made a rule that if you were going to play video games, you had to play it standing. That way it was less of a waste of time and it wasn't such a detriment to your health. Standing. Really, really, really cool thing to do. Do it. Do it. You won't do it. And that's all, folks. If you got to the end of the video, please drop a like. Please drop a subscribe. If you comment in the comment section, I guarantee I will respond to it. And until next time, stay out of your chairs and I will see you again.